I've been playing the game again more.
We both have, yeah.
That's a change, yes. Disc Priest. It's funny. I've got all item level 278 conduits on my Disc Priest now. My main doesn't even have that because, of course, with a little bit of taxation, I moved all of my Cosmic Flux, which I think I've literally never spent on the character I did Sepulchre on. I moved that over. I was able to buy the new item they put in for this season that gives you every single conduit fully maxed out. So that whole game system, tick. I'm almost, just by doing a few Mythic pluses with you and a little bit of the campaign, I'm almost Renown level 80, so that's that, ticked. It's been fairly easy. I guess there's just some legendary, resources, but, I mean, hell, even when I think about tier, I'll probably have, as soon as I get it, I can pretty much get 2 set, which is extremely helped by what Blizzard did with the Cosmic Flux, where they doubled your acquisition. Which, of course, in my new character, I can run around Zareth Mortis, get all the 200 Cosmic Flux treasures, but then they've doubled it for all the other content that you do, which just kind of means, like, holy shit, finally Shadowlands isn't fighting with you all the time.
I would say it's fighting a lot less.
Fighting a bit.
There's still a little bit of, like, when you have to spend the money on Legendary and you have to go get the Cosmic Flux, you have to do some of the stuff and it's more efficient. It is still, there's a pretty high buy-in cost in terms of what you feel you need as opposed to what you literally need, because that's kind of the problem where there's like, should you get your legendaries and all your Cosmic Flux before you enter a bit of content? Based on how the community and kind of socially people see content and how you're supposed to do it, yes, you should be fully prepared before you go in. But then you get Flux from Mythic Plus, you get Flux from rating, so it's that kind of, well, should you? Yes, no, maybe. Will you be bullied for going in without legendaries? Probably not. But if there's a problem, people will point at you and go, yeah. Fuck you in particular.
Oh, I don't even have a single legendary on that Disc Priest at all. But that's fine. That'll change very soon. I guess it's the difference between alts and mains, isn't it? Because in a main, you don't expect any of that. But on alt, you do kind of expect that. And Blizzard are almost there. But not quite. Because to use the item that costs Cosmic Flux and will turn that into enough stuff to make like a maxed legendary in terms of Soul Cinders and Ash, you need Honored for that, which is really annoying on an alt. Unless that's maybe no, that wouldn't be an account-wide unlock because my alt can't do it and my main is Honored.
Yeah, that's like the... So
they're, they didn't quite get...
That's the one thing that feels like a slight holdover going into Season 4. You're like, why? Is it oversight? Is there some sort of, we need people to want to do some of the content? It's like, come on, just remove rep requirements for most things unless they're super relevant at the time. Yeah. Basically, please. Thank you.
Fuck it at this stage, just put every legendary power in a vendor for like 500 flux. I don't give a shit, whatever.
Yeah,
stuff like that would probably be pragmatic because ultimately what's been fun about this season has just been start a new character, do a new role, get straight into content. And I guess every bit of friction that takes you away from getting straight into the content ends up harming that a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the overall lesson that they kind of... That's what we said for so long about Shadowlands and the entire way through of how defensive they are in their design of like, and we can't have like, this is our precious baby, the rating scene, the Mythic Plus, the start of season race. Not even like race to world first, but like the kind of the culture of, it's time to go fast, time to get geared, time to push, time to do whatever, time to play the game maximally until like the off season kind of kicks on, or later season gets a little bit more condensed and cooled down. And that's like where they're just defensive around, we must protect this whole thing. You're like, do you really? Yeah. It'd be nice to see a season in Dragonflight that goes, there's no barrier to literally just logging into a character and going, this character is max level, can I go do the content? Yeah, without feeling like I should go do other shit first.
That's where they've moved Shadowlands so much more towards in this season. Even we'll talk about it later with what they've done with Conquest. Like, they're really going in that direction. And that's been really good and really nice. And I suppose you look at the new expansion in principle, and endgame-wise, there could be, like, I think crafting patterns and that sort of thing on reps, and certainly there'll be gear on reps and things like that. but that's probably not going to be gear that somebody who just wants to do a bunch of M plus rating, etc., needs, right?
Yes.
So that's probably going to mean that for maybe the people who would play that side of the content like us, just want to hop in, do a bunch of content in our characters. I mean, if I just wanted to start a new tune and do M plus, I'm fairly sure I just need to get that tune to 70. And that's it.
Theoretically, so far, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Which would make it the most it's weird because you could say the most alt-friendly the game has been since MoP, but then
since ever, honestly.
And then I remembered, oh wait, MoP did have the whole legendary thing. The legendary, cloak quest and all of that jazz. So actually, maybe it could be more alt-friendly than, more than Legion, more than BF. I guess in and around WoD, because in WoD it was just like, there you go.
Yeah.
Right? Get some gear and off you are. So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling good about all of that, I guess.
And certainly in terms of that's the thing, they could always kind of throw a little bit of a bone into that with anything they could do, or, there's something into this book, I can't remember, a spanner in the works, that's the term I'm looking for. They could maybe do that with some element that they haven't introduced just yet. But that's the thing, it's like, that's the thing that's, I want to say almost, like, I don't want to come across like I'm full doomer or full cynic here, but it's like, in avoided information, you rely on pattern recognition to fill the information in that you don't have. And it's like they've been very quiet about endgame. And that could be them having nothing to say about endgame. It could be them having brand new plans for endgame that they want to wait until Season 4 reception's confirmed to confirm or rework quickly. They might have a kind of plan A, plan B for Season 4 results and go, okay, here's our, Season 4 goes well, plan A. Season 4 doesn't go well, plan B. And that could just be waiting to see results to announce because they don't want to give us false hope. Or it could be they're sitting there, smiling at us going, haha, they think they're going to have an alt-friendly time. Wait till they see the systems we have in store. I highly doubt
yeah,
it.
that would be very surprising at this stage.
But if I were to go pattern recognition to the last time till we see Shadowlands, I'd go, well, would they be comfortable going, people will do M plus a little bit, they'll get a great vault, they'll raid, they'll PvP. Now the PvP's a little bit more back in the menu for what we've done, and then also they'll do some dragon riding. Are they comfortable doing that, or will it be towards the end they're like, getting cold feet, like, what if our player engagement metrics aren't high enough? What if this is like, what if we accidentally kill the game by letting engagement metrics fall and then run foul of everything? What if that happens? Well, because from their perspective, that's like I'm not even saying that like a cynical thing, but it's like more probably a genuine fear they have of, they will certainly kind of like know, hopefully they'll know, okay, players will play our game because it's fun, because we've done the right thing, we've made our classes good or whatever. But there will be that like little bit of fear, just, do we need to use the bad tactic? Do we need to pull out the silver bullet for game time? Do we need to?
Well, you see, it's like people engaged in domination charts because they felt like they had to. I cannot believe they think that means that was a success. I'm fairly sure they've said it wasn't a particularly successful thing. So it's we all know that those things can juice the numbers up. I suppose for them it's...
I would disagree about domination charts. I'm more mean something like a rep that gets you the thing that's very, not technically necessary, but feels necessary because it's such a massive boon.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of what I feel, because domination shards, there was no real game time attached. That was just needless complexity systematically for gear.
Yeah, it totally depends on how they design it then. Because right now we have all these reps that are very, planned out in a sort of do your dailies every single day for this amount of time, you'll get the thing. And there's always got to be some degree of that, but I think what plenty of people would like is a rep where there is an efficient amount of XP per day or per week that you can earn, but maybe there's like a little bit of a grindy amount of XP, and Blizzard would never do that. Rep. Blizzard would never do that right now if there was any power in that rep, because they know that people would feel like they just need to go and grind frogs for 8 hours a day, or something, like that, right? In a world where the reps don't feel as attached to player power, then Blizzard are far more free to just design a rep in, whatever way that they want. right? So
Yeah.
you can just sort of grind through it. And like, yeah, you won't get your sort of daily checklist people. But that seems like that's sort of what they want. I mean, they've literally talked about, like, the quote is the chore, the checklist. They've said they don't want that.
See, I'm sort of going based on good faith that they are completely like agree with that, and they aren't being cynical. They are actually going, yeah, we know we don't want that. That's a bad thing. We've recognized that in our player behavior. But to me, it's like, will they get it right? And this isn't to say, you know, oh, they might accidentally put a gem socket on items on a rep and not realize it. Nothing that stupid. But will there be something that people feel they need to do? You're right there, we're in front of the camera.
I was just seeing where. Hello.
Yeah,
Oops.
it's like, will they do something of, yeah, this isn't player power. It doesn't ascribe to our definition of player power, but to the average player, it looks like player power. Not quite literally, but in the sense of, you know, it helps you get places substantially quicker, or, you know, maybe it's super efficient to get for like gear. Say you go for like a crafting rep or something, or it's a crafting recipe for, say, something like alchemy or something like enchanting, that whatever mechanic, whatever way it's like limited, it's better for you to get it yourself, and that'll let you get access to it faster. And it's a tiny amount of power or a tiny amount of something, and that's not their idea, but it happens anyway because of like a small oversight or like a small mistake. It's like, will they be able to avoid that? And I am effectively nitpicking based on worst possible scenario here. I'm completely aware of that. I'm not just saying, I don't trust them. They're gonna fuck it up somehow. I don't think that, but it's like still that little fear of, I hope they are super like intensively trying to avoid that, intentionally trying to keep it out, and like actively going, will players think of this as this? Then let's not do it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So they get all that right, then we could be in a position where the game is just fundamentally far more playable and on far more characters. That'll be an improvement by default. Perhaps that just gets us to that fundamentally healthy position.
Yeah, I mean,
where we're finally not just spending all of our time in the game fighting against shit or doing checklist content.
Yeah. I mean,
And I guess, I don't know, that's what makes the game fundamentally being really, really good again in a holistic way instead of just in little specific ways.
yeah,
That's like the barrier to that.
okay, that's where I look at, obviously, unknown characters saying the Great Vault's a checklist, and that's one thing that's going to stick with me really hard.
True.
I hope they fix the mathematics and the kind of the distribution of loot behind that, so that I don't feel like a gimp for getting one slot and calling that a day, because I'm also, based on release time, that'll be around, maybe you'll be hearing whispers of like FF 6.3, maybe December time, something like that, maybe, you know, and that'll be in the middle of, if we're assuming Dragonflight will be November, December, then that'll be in the kind of peak of Dragonflight playtime. So it's like, will they enable that to be, and even with the amount of other games coming out, like, I mean, I don't know how long they'll stick with it, but I do want to try Tower Fantasy at some time, because I liked Genshin for a couple of months until I kind of ran out of content and went, dailies, fuck you, game. So maybe Tower Fantasy will be another couple of months, and then, oh, dailies, go fuck yourself. But it's like, will they be able to make a game that people can play healthily and weave between other parts of their, like, not even just their gaming lives, but their lives in general, as opposed to logging in and going, I've got 2 hours, this doesn't feel like enough.
Yeah.
Which is one of the problems of the checklist kind of stuff like that. So
At least per their philosophies, yes. We just need to see how that actually ends up.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That'll be the question.
Yeah. Also, I also didn't mention any of the other games, like, obviously this Void Spark points out Harvestella. Harvestella being just, here's Rune Factory by Square Enix. Yep, I love that. Thank you. Or Star Ocean's late October, I think. And then there's Valkyrie before. Anyway, lots of games.
Too many. Square Enix have a very packed list.